What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Yammy Noob. Today we are taking a look at some comments from our Zero video, a video that did very, very well, right, Spike?
Very well.
My God, like 200,000 views in like a couple days or something. It was nuts. But we did have some comments on there from some diehard electric people and some people who had a lot to say about what we said about Zero.
Yeah, I think there was a lot that it actually sparked good conversation, which is a good thing. That was one. A lot of times we get this video does not spark joy, in which case it sparks rage.
Yeah, so now we're going to do a bit of a post-mortem analysis on the Zero video. Let's get into it.
So our first comment was found by Adronicus.
All right, so this person said, the worst part is that you are already paying for these features when you buy the bike hardware-wise. The company associates the cost of, let's say, the heated grips into the cost of the bike when it's sold because they can't lose that money if you never decided to pay for the feature. That was something I've been saying about it. So you're pretty much paying for heated grips hardware, and then they want you to buy the ability to use them after the cost of hardware is already associated with the bike on purchase. It has to be the scummiest sales tactic I've ever seen. Pretty much bought it 2 times. And that is exactly right. A dealership, or rather a manufacturer, is not going to walk away from all the cost of goods sold on putting that hardware on the bike.
Yeah.
And it's just that they're going to, basically charge you twice for it.
I don't know who this tactic was for.
Yeah.
That would be willing.
I think there's some comments where we're going to see who it was for, because some people support this nonsense.
Yeah, so let's move on and see what we've got here.
This guy says, you're thinking of it backwards. It's always a $22,895, but they let you choose features that you don't want/need for a discount. And if you want to add those features at a later time, it's as easy as a software upgrade. Developing improved software and battery optimization isn't cheap, and making one bike or anything else with optional upgrades makes a lot more production sense and consumer sense than making different bikes. It's less wasteful and ultimately more efficient for everyone. The only issue is that the bike is massively expensive in general, not the pricing/upgraded model. Your last point about keeping an eye on defeaturing is legitimate, but that's a separate issue really. And if I remember correctly, that type of action has already been ruled illegal in multiple courts. So, a bit to unpack here. He's basically saying that this makes sense because you can make one bike and then have it a la carte for whoever wants it. But all that happens there, in my opinion, is everybody pays more.
Yes.
The consumer is losing.
The amount of Zero apologia here is painful.
Yeah.
If you're actually thinking like this, you're willing to spend, I think the number was 27 grand, 28 grand on this bike that's already not worth the 22,895 that we quoted it as, which I don't think either of us would be even remotely okay paying 15 grand, let alone 22.
No.
For this.
This is the issue, is like you buy into something that's already expensive and then they're going to charge you the subscription on top of that, you know?
Yes.
This subscription-based model stuff, it really, what it does, it just confuses the consumer's price visibility, right? Mm-hmm. So like basically you create a consumer that doesn't really quite understand what they should or should not be paying for. And when you have a consumer that doesn't have perfect price information, you get a wonky model where the supplier makes all the money and the consumer gets
Confusopoly.
Yep. You just confuse them until they just pay more. And that's what's happening.
So, yeah, I will give you that what they're doing is not cheap, but that is the cost of making motorcycles. Developing motorcycles is an expensive thing, and if you can't figure out how to do that, you probably shouldn't be manufacturing motorcycles.
Yeah, everybody has to do it. It's why Suzuki still sells the SV650 the way it is.
And what he's also trying to get here is it's like rider choice. You know, rider choice. You could choose whether or not to have the heated grips. No, you can't.
Yeah, you're
because
still
you already
paying
bought
for it.
them.
Yeah,
you already bought the heated grips.
They're in there.
You just need to buy them again.
Yeah.
To unlock them. So it's not rider choice.
Yeah. Blue Baby here with a bit of a wild comment. Companies like this deserve to have their product weaponized against them since they weaponize it against the consumer. Hoping some heroic Zero owner goes Tesla mode and unleashes the thermal potential of his lithium battery on the Zero offices. Openly advocating for terrorism.
Yeah, that's not great.
Okay, that's a little crazy, all right? Look, we don't like the Zero scummy sales tactics, but I don't think their office deserves to be firebombed. That's kind of nuts. Yeah, I don't think they're weaponizing the product. That's a bit of a crazy verb to use.
Yeah, this dude has been down some rabbit holes, I think.
He has the anarchist cookbook on like quick draw from his bookshelf. That's pretty
like, all right,
nuts.
this one calls for pipe bomb. Here we go. We've got Stompy next with a chain here. This ought to be good.
All right, Stompy here with the chain. It says, you missed another big question. If you pay to unlock these features and sell it secondhand down the line, does the new owner get to keep the unlocked features, or do they have to buy them again?
That's
very
actually
good question.
Yeah.
Then they say, another person, maybe the unlocked features are connected to your app account so they can charge you a second time in case of new ownership. And then this other person says, no, they don't. I think they use an account system. If you open the app and put in your details plus the vehicle stuff, I think you would still need to pay to use those features. And then this guy says, can you imagine the awkward conversations between the original owner selling and the guy who wants to buy it used? So it has heated grips, right? Well, yes and no. Actually, yes, the bike has them and they work fine. So why say yes and no? They stopped working after it changes owner. What kind of witchcraft is that? I'm not into this voodoo. Let me go buy a Jixus Thou. That's a great point. I hadn't thought about that when we made the videos. Like,
no.
When you sell the bike, do those unlocked features go along with it?
Is it attached to the VIN or is it attached to you?
Again, that's why we said at the end of the video, do you own your Zero?
I don't think so.
I don't think you do. This person says, great episode and excellent info. I had a Zero for 2 years and just traded it in for a Touareg 660. Excellent trade deal. Never felt better getting rid of something. Stay clear of Zero. The Livewire by HD is a great bike, and I can see them making cheaper great bikes along with Energica. Zero's business model is pathetic. Damn, just an indictment of Zero.
Yep. This is one that we said in the video, is you get the full bike with the Harley. You get the full bike with the Energica.
Yeah.
So, hard to make the case for the Zero.
You get the whole bike with the Touareg.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah.
Infernal Saxon is next.
All right. This guy says, damn, I was seriously thinking of adding an electric bike to my garage, but these are all good points. Maybe I'll wait for some other bike manufacturers to create more competition in the market to keep others in check. I'm anxious to see how the new Triumph Electric turns out in production. And then this other person, or maybe him, says, maybe it's a good thing that Zero/Ural died, causing me to look into a home build. Can't imagine paying an extra to unlock the two-wheel drive already there. Also, if you're worried about a future brick and you already have the options you want, just disconnect the transmitter. So this is something I saw a lot in the comments here, like, bro, just hack it. Bro, just disconnect the transmitter. And I'm like, guys, like, it's a pretty sophisticated piece of technology. Like, not everyone's going to be able to, like, pop the seat open and be like, let me resolder this board really quick and disconnect the transmitter. I don't think it's that easy.
No, if it was, people would have, it would be out there that people were jailbreaking it.
Yeah.
It just would be a thing. Somebody, every time they mentioned the Cypher Store, somebody would talk about these white hats who were doing all this great work for the consumers out there. But no, it's just not. It's kind of like how the ZH2 still hadn't been cracked.
Yeah, and can you imagine, too, you buy one of these super expensive electric bikes and then you just gamble on, like, fucking resoldering the board. Or, I mean, you'll break it in a second, then you won't get anything for it.
Yup.
Then you go to the dealership, be like, what'd you do? Oh, yeah, that's not covered by warranty, obviously. Off.
Yeah. No. Don't. It's you can't fix anything on these bikes. So.
Yeah.
The Lava Melon.
This person says, BMW Automotive is already doing this with their cars. They're not the only ones either. The worst with the auto industry in this is the monthly charge. It's not a one-time charge. Yeah, as we saw with BMW, they're like, yeah, pay $18 to have your butt heated. It's like, what dystopian nightmare is this?
Yeah.
What is this, dude? Yeah.
Kind of messed up stuff when you think about it. Moving on to Admiral Snack Bar.
This person's comment says, I think you're right to ask if you actually own the patch you downloaded. I remember a used Tesla owner being told the car he bought no longer had the function he told it had because the original owner bought it and it was not transferable. So, like, the original owner bought basically a license to use a thing on the thing he owns.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Which is...
That's insane. And it's crazy that some people, like, defend this bull.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you defend this? It's anti-consumer.
Because, it gives you the choice to buy the heated grips or something.
No. Shut the up.
El Gibor.
This person said, might be some Italian pride speaking here, but it really looks like Energica is the king of the game on electric bikes nowadays. Zero really was a promising company until they came up with this BS. I honestly, like, I don't want to, like, say that our video, like, did a bunch of damage, but I did see a lot of comments basically being like, yeah, I'm not ever going to look at this Zero ever again, you know?
Yeah.
I think, honestly, we put away a lot of customers.
I mean, rightfully so. I wouldn't feel comfortable recommending a Zero after hearing about the Cypher Store stuff.
No.
Matthew DFW.
All right, this was apparently all from the same person. It says, how is this different from having to pay extra for Öhlins instead of SAC suspension components, or paying a third party to put a new chip in the ECU for improved performance on your duck? Are you going to be anti-live wire as well? Oh dear God, what is your problem? So there's a big difference in having to pay for different hardware components. For example, for the example of like Öhlins versus SACs, right? So you can have a base model Ducati that has SACs or a V4S that has Öhlins. Those are two different motorcycles that have a different suspension component that you can choose which one you want to buy and fully own. That's the thing we're talking about here, is the full ownership. It's not like you buy a semi-active Öhlins suspension and then you have to pay to have the thing work.
It's also worth pointing out the SAC suspension, perfectly functional, really good on its own.
Yeah.
It's already a really good suspension setup. They wouldn't put it on a Ducati if it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then you can just get Öhlins if you're being extra. That is consumer choice.
Yeah.
That is, you can choose, do you want the base model suspension, which is also really good, or do you want the like extra one, which got the wires coming out and you can flex it over?
Yeah. And the other thing about paying a third party to put a new chip in the ECU for improved performance, that's a government regulation.
It's a government regulation.
We cover that in the video. Like, the only reason those ECUs are choked up and the emissions are choked up is because the government says that they need to hit certain metrics and standards. Because I guarantee you, if Ducati could, they'd sell you a bike with a full pipe.
Mm-hmm.
They can't, though.
Make 240 horsepower.
Yeah. So, yeah. And as far as us being anti-live wire, well, if the live wire had, Cypher store bull, we'd be anti-live wire as well. But
absolutely.
It doesn't.
Yeah, no. I think this came out because we rode the live wires and we loved the live wires, and we have this sort of relationship with Harley where they give us some bikes. We can say whatever the hell we want about these bikes. The only thing that Harley cares about is if it's accurate.
Accurate, yeah.
They want it to be accurate, to the point where we actually had to put out a couple of corrections on videos just to make sure that we're covering our bases. But as long as the coverage is accurate, we can say whatever the hell we want.
And we've been very critical of Harley stuff.
Very critical.
Yeah.
You because you don't think it's a good value prop. Me because I'm just like, Harley, you could do so much better.
After riding the Pan Am, I feel the same way now. I'm like, God, this company can do anything it wants. It just chooses not to all the time.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Really frustrating. Z-Fang
here, the comment says, checks to see if EA is partnered with Zero. The king of microtransactions themselves, EA.
The CEO, Android Wilson, taking over.
Paul then says, the next craze will be a virtual motorcycle. You can ride it in the metaverse, and then it will gain value as a collector's items, like NFTs. Yeah, stuff like that's already happening in virtual ownership of things. Most people are figuring out it's all bullshit, so that's nice.
One of my favorite things was when real estate exploded in the metaverse, and then everybody was like, wait, why did I spend all that money on this?
You're like, wait a minute, they can just make more code and make the space bigger. Oh, it's not a scarce resource, is it? Weird.
I'm dumb.
Jaker says, I bought a Zero S from a dealership, hoping they will take it back. Any help? They are not going to take it back.
Nope.
Someone on chat here with a great comment says, I wonder if Zero's next idea will be to push advertisements to a person's bike as they ride.
Oh my God. Don't even give them the idea, dude.
It's already happening at gas stations. It drives me insane. Anyways, that's our diatribe on the Zero comments. We hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you love the Yamcast, head over to Yamini.co and support us for as little as $5 a month. Join the Discord, access to all of our exclusive streams, giveaway bikes, and all of our awesome discounts on Twisted Road and the Gear Shop. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later.